welcome to the Newsdesk Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, it's been a very exciting Sunday, what with the Congress dashing off a letter to the party leadership asking for something that a lot of people have been asking for, but for the first time, we have led to believe from sources that there's actually been a letter with some people say 23 signatures, others put that signature to 303, saying that asking for a move away from status quo. The letter has not really been out yet, but from what we gather, they're asking for elections to the working committee. They want this whole question of leadership to be resolved. They also want, some more accountability, responsibility, and a more vibrant party setup. Really, the Congress should start acting like an opposition, at least, is what we are being told is written in the letter. To join me on the implications of all this is, of course, Sanjay Jha, suspended Congress leader, and also I think Sanjay, kudos to you. You were the first one who raised the alarm about such a letter existing, and now that's making headlines today. Rashid Kidwai, author of 24 Akbar Road, and a quite authoritative voice in all things Congress. Aarti Jairis, senior journalist, political commentator, and columnist. Sanjay, since you raised the alarm, bell the cat, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to first start with you. There's a lot of speculation since no one has seen the letter. Have you seen this letter? Does it exist? Is this happening?
Priya, firstly, thanks for inviting me, and also, it's great to be with Aarti and Rashid, two people whom I greatly admire and who I do know follow political developments very, very minutely. Short and sweet, the letter does exist. The letter has been delivered to the Congress President's office. The letter has more than 23 signatories. I can tell you there are close to 300 people, Congress leaders from all over the country who have signed up. And the one critical point that we should not miss, this is not any kind of a rebellion or an internal revolution. Let me take out the hyperbole and the rhetoric out of this. This is a view of people who are committed to the ideology of the Congress party. These are people who believe in the fact that the Congress needs to put up a robust fight against an authoritarian, communal Bharatiya Janata Party that is completely made a mess of the country's governance over the last year, in fact, over the last 6 years. And ultimately, they all want the Congress party to do well. So whether these are suggestions of internal democracy, more transparent elections, it is a constructive, forward-looking, progressive agenda that all the 23 leaders, including ex-chief ministers, members of parliament, former union ministers, members of the Congress Working Committee, who have signed up. So I think we need to be, kind of understanding of the fact that this is more of a democratic protest against the way the Congress party is going. And when you're not heard internally, these are the only options you have.
There is also a view that this is actually a command performance by Camp Rahul, which wants to shake up the status quo. They're not happy with Sonia Gandhi and the old guard per se ruling the rules. So they're saying this is one way to shake up things. They've been also, talking at Party Fora recently, been vocal against the status quo, really.
Well, that is what I think Rashid wrote in his last column. I'm not here to add any fuel to fire to that speculation. The gentleman is here. He can speak for himself. As far as I'm concerned, this is a very concerted, a well-considered, well-thought-out strategy to make sure that the Congress party is able to galvanize its workforce, bring about greater, transparency in the way we work, because ultimately we have to fight to save this country. We have to be in great health ourselves.
Command performance letter or actually people from different camps, because one thing is interesting that there's not person from one, they're not people from one camp really. We have an Azad, we have Anand Sharma, we have a Jitin Prasad, we have some of the people that are named have said that they haven't written the letter also, by the way. But by and large, we've seen that people are admitting off record to the letter, and Sanjay said the letter does exist. So it's cutting across all camps, Rashid, really.
Yes, Priya, I think first of all, this letter or this kind of drive is 5 years late. It should have happened just after 2014 or sometime in 2015. Because from my quick glance at it, there are three types of people. There are people who want Gandhis to take over. From Sonia to Rahul. There are others who think that regardless of whether Sonia continues or Rahul takes over, there should be some kind of institutional hierarchy should be there in place in terms of working committee, members, AICC general secretaries, all those things. And there are some, of course, Vibhishon in the sense who are in that kind of destructive role, who want to destroy, who want to bring the Chief Justice of India in this the Congress story. A letter has gone to Chief Justice of India also. Tell me but anybody who's having any kind of sense of association with the Congress would do this, that send a letter to CBI, send a letter to CGI and all kind of institutions, because we know that
this letter has been sent to the Chief Justice. I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, there are 3 letters of it. All of it will unfold. We are not really far from it, because tomorrow there is a CWC that I'm saying. So the Vibhishan part is something that is disturbing for the faithful, and for me and Aarti it's delightful, because it gives us a chance to write and comment more. So there is a lot of problems there. I think the main culprit is somewhere is Rahul Gandhi, his inability to take over. He thinks that if he becomes Congress president now, which is there in a platter, which everyone wants, you see, that would dub him as another failure, because there is going to be Bihar election where Congress, Sanjay Jha state also, where Congress is set to draw 0 blank. So he thinks that perhaps he's better off by taking over after Bihar election, and he also wants to get a clean slate. So he's making all kind of appointments, which is basically rattled, so to say, the old guard, or those who are ministers in UPA. He has unleashed all those things like Rajiv Satav and Shakti Singh Gohil and others to attack and corner the established leaders of the party. So there is ferment in the field, but in nutshell, basically it shows there is a lot of life in Congress. Congress is not dying.
That's a silver lining, at least. Aarti, before we go on to whether Rahul will take the plunge or not, your first comments on the letter itself. How do you read this letter that is happening? And before you say anything, I want to just say that I did reach out to a whole lot of Congress spokespersons, Congress leaders, some whose names have appeared in the letter also. Either didn't take my call, and most people said, some of them even said this is above my pay grade, and some said just leave me out of this. So we are leaving them out of this, but the letters ask for us to decipher, Aarti.
Well, I mean, I've been talking to some of them. Certainly some did not take my calls, but some did take my calls. From what I understand, there have been meetings going on for several months now, where, people who are unhappy with the state of affairs in the Congress have been meeting and discussing and trying to find a way to galvanize the party and to, sort out this festering leadership crisis that has been going on ever since Rahul Gandhi just walked out in a half last year after the defeat of the Congress in 2019. So this letter is a culmination of all those meetings. And again, from what I understand, this letter was sent to Sonia Gandhi in the hope that Sonia Gandhi would summon some of them, for a further discussion to, see what can be done, for them to air their grievances, for them to air their suggestions, and then for her to consider and see what can be done. Instead, this letter was sent some 2 or 3 weeks ago. And instead, they suddenly found that she summoned a CWC meeting, and it's an extended CWC meeting, which means some 30, 40, 50 people will be there on Zoom. And, on a forum like that, there's no way anything can be discussed. I mean, clearly, just imagine 50 people on Zoom. What do you think is going to happen at tomorrow's CWC meeting? Do you think anybody is going to actually discuss the real issues, going to actually discuss the points that have been raised? Are they going to really come up with an action plan for a way forward, for the revival of the party, for the resolution of this leadership crisis? I don't think so. What may happen is that there'll be this call that no, Rahul Gandhi take over, and, it may just end like the last meeting, where nothing is sorted out. And this is the problem of the Congress, Priya, for 1 year. It's, will Rahul take over? Will Rahul not take over? Is he coming? Is he not coming? I mean, listen, the point is, if you are, and, I think Rashid has said this, several times, he's written it also, that Rahul Gandhi is taking all the important decisions in the Congress, but he's taking them from behind the scenes. All appointments that are being made, the nomination of K.C. Venugopal as to the Rajya Sabha from Rajasthan, the appointment of Hardik Patel as the working president of the Gujarat Congress, many other decisions. These are all Rahul's decisions. He's been firing off his mother's shoulder and taking those decisions. My point is that if you are a leader, if you're a true leader, Come up front, take charge, kick out the people you don't want, retain the people you want, make your own team, but be a leader, assert yourself, be visible, be active. And I think this is where Rahul is found wanting.
Very well said, Aarti. I don't think any of us would disagree on that, especially not Sanjay. But Sanjay, this letter Aarti is telling us has been in the wing, has been written about, say, in July. This is something that I'd also heard. And you tweeted about it then. So what happened since then? Do you more or less agree with what Aarti has told us, that this is what they were expecting, that Sonia would do something more constructive than just called a working committee on Zoom, which I don't think will be as organized as this one is?
I think there is no dispute at all, Priya, and I think both Rashid and Aarti have correctly mentioned that the Congress party needs a political resurrection. There are large sections of Indian society today that do recognize that the reason why Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister continues to be so popular, that there is no competition at all, is largely because there is not an acceptable face emerging from the opposition, principally from the Congress. Now, if despite a dysfunctional Indian economy, which is in tatters, likely to be negative GDP growth rate, humanitarian crisis is what the migrant issue became ultimately, record joblessness, problems on national security, a communal temperature rising by the day. We all know how democracy is under a serious threat. Look at the issue with Facebook. There is a laundry list of extremely embarrassing gaffes that this current government has done. And yet, Mr. Modi continues to have a towering lead over any other leader, including Mr. Gandhi from the Congress. Now, there is a message there. And the message that the Indian democracy, like all democracies, has moved towards the presidential personality style combat. And we cannot live in a fool's paradise and ignore that reality. I can tell you, Priya, for a fact, that today there are people who do believe, and there is no denying the contribution of the Gandhi family. I'm in the Congress, by the way, because of Rahul, Priyanka, and Mrs. Gandhi. But I have no hesitation in saying, and I came even before the 2004 elections were fought. So I joined the Congress at its worst abysmal low when it was written off before the Vajpayee government's campaign in 2004 unfortunately didn't work for them. But the fact is that today the time has come when we need to bite the bullet. The Gandhi brand has been terribly damaged by the BJP IT cell and by all the leaders. Rahul unfortunately underestimated the whole campaign of Papuism that went against him. Although, he's an intelligent man, sensitive man, has a definite vision for how things need to happen. The fact is that there has been a massive erosion of that political capital. And today, if we were to get out of this whole dynastic acquisition that the BJP makes against us, I think the Congress party will leapfrog immediately. And there is no dearth of talent. The moment you have a non-Gandhi leader here, and I'm not saying that because I'm speaking against the Gandhi family or anyone at all. Please ignore that. I'm saying the moment you have a non-Gandhi leader in the Congress party, I think you'll find the upswing happen, because the people have begun to now say, why is there a non-Gandhi leader not taking over? Are you really now becoming, and the words people use are very nasty. They begin to call the Congress a private limited family company. I'm sure you hear that all the time. These are very negative connotations to attach to the grand old party.
But who
so
should
we
this
don't
non-Gandhi
reinvent.
leader be, Sanjay?
Well, I can.
It has to be someone with some credibility. If it's a Mukul Vasnik or a KC Venugopal or various names that are doing the rounds, that's not going to galvanize anyone against Modi.
Well, Priya, if you're asking me for names, I'm not really going to fall into that trap, because I do believe there are some very good names. Until Jyotiraditya had not exited our party, the three names that I was hearing from people, I'm not saying my favorites, but these were three names that I was hearing from across the board. And you can criticize them saying that they were opportunistic and, that Sachin and Jyotiraditya were ideologically compromised. But I don't think so. I do believe that Jyotir, Sachin, Dr. Tharoor, and there are others in the party as well who are being talked about in a very positive light. And I do feel that the Congress does not have a shortage of talent. I'll give you one example. When MS Dhoni became the captain of the Indian cricket team, people said, who is this guy? He's so young, he's got a long hair, he's a very important sort of a character. How can he lead Dhoni? How can he lead Ganguly, Dravid, Lakshman and Tendulkar? And he did. And he did. And therefore, until you embrace change, take a risk and experiment, you'll never know how good somebody possibly already is.
See, we can name names, and all the three names that Sanjay has taken, there seems to be some issue. I had Manish Tiwari on my show just last week, a good friend of Sanjay's, who says that these are all princes of privilege. They get things on a platter. He didn't take Tharu's name, but he definitely took Pilot and Scindia's name, saying they've got everything on a platter. It's a lateral entry. So we should actually promote those who are from the grassroots, from the youth Congress, people who actually work their way up.
Yeah, first of all, let me clarify.
Problem is with the name.
Yeah. Yeah, first of all, you see that tomorrow's meeting is not on Zoom because Zoom has a potential of getting it hacked. It's
Yes.
done on WebEx. Okay. So that's the thing. And second thing is when you see the problem is not so much about who will be the Congress. Anybody can be the Congress president. Me and Aarti Jairath and you have also seen. We have seen last days of Sitaram Kesari. What used to happen at Purana Killa Road? That Kesari ji would be sitting there, attending to, his pet, that Ruchi, that Pomeranian. And, either Mr. Winston George or Mr. Oscar Fernandez would come with files. And in front of me, Kesari ji, very, without making any reference or noise, he would sign on those files. What were these files? These files were key appointments in the Congress organization, sending observer, getting some clear. So, and I assume that, this was done on behalf of 10 Janpad. Now, you see, if Mr. Mukul Vasnik or Dr. Shashi Tharoor or anybody is appointed Congress president, unless they are empowered to take a decision, whatever, that who will be the chief minister, who will be the district Congress president and all that, then it's fine. Otherwise, if it is a Congress working committee, people stand up when Priyanka Gandhi walks in or Rahul Gandhi comes in as, CWC member or as general secretary or whatever, then this is a farce. So this is a real problem. If you talk to real Congress people.
Aarti, to take off from that question to the other two, can you name some names that will be more credible than just, people who will use proxy rubber stamps and where somebody else will be holding the files to get it signed?
Priya, I don't take any names because I think Sanjay has a very utopian view of how the Congress party runs and how it can be run. I mean, let's be very clear about this. I don't think the Gandhis are going to give up control of the Congress party. So whoever is appointed as president, if it's a non-Gandhi, there is no question that they will be pulling the strings from behind that person. It happened even, mind you, during Narasimha Rao's time, when Narasimha Rao was prime minister and he was Congress president, he had all the powers. But look at the havoc that people like Arjun Singh and all played with his government because they were reporting to 10 Janpad and they were, there was this tension that was building up between Sonia Gandhi and Narasimha Rao, which ultimately led to Narasimha Rao virtually being disowned by, the Congress party when Sonia Gandhi took over. And I want to draw your attention to this recent thing that happened when this quote by Priyanka, which appeared in a book on the next generation of political leaders, in which Priyanka says that a non-Gandhi should lead the Congress and the party must find its own path. As soon as that quote became viral, there was a tweet from Randeep Surjewala virtually contradicting what Priyanka had said. Now, I don't believe that any spokesperson of the Congress party would dare to contradict a member of the Gandhi family. So I think Surjewala was told to put out that tweet to clarify this whole question of a non-Gandhi leading the party. So ultimately, what is the message that comes out from that? That the Gandhis want only a Gandhi to lead the Congress party. They do not want a non-Gandhi. And even if you put up a non-Gandhi, it'll be a mukhota, a face, a mask, not anybody who's empowered to actually take decisions. So that's why I'm saying that, listen, it's entirely up to the Congress and the Gandhis. And I do believe that if Rahul Gandhi, wants to run the party, let him come up front and take charge. Let him show that he is the leader. Let him assert himself. And if there is collateral damage along the way of, some old people leaving or, other people leaving, well, so be it. That's the way, that's what Indira Gandhi did. She did it in 1969. She did it in 1979. She threw out people who, who she didn't like or who were challenging her or she didn't get on with. And she asserted herself, So, and I'm afraid all parties in India, any one of them, whether they are state parties or national parties, except I think perhaps with the exception of the left, all other parties are one-man shows. Even the BJP is a one-man show. It is run by one man, Narendra Modi. And he, they accept his authority because he wins elections for them. The day he stops winning elections for them, there will be trouble in the BJP against Narendra Modi. And this is the problem with Rahul Gandhi. He needs to start winning an election. If he would win an election, he would be able to assert his authority. The problem is that he's not being able to win elections for the Congress. He's been in public life for 16 years now, but he hasn't been able to win elections. So, the point is, it's not a question of dynasty. It's not a question of, inner democracy. Which party in India has internal democracy? Which party? I don't know of any party, including the BJP.
So Sanjay, let's move away from the utopian view, your utopian point of view, that Aarti said, and let's say it's a given. It will probably a Rahul or versions of, Rahul, Priyanka, Sonia, whichever one at the helm. Would you be, with the Congress leaders, be happy with, say, democracy in the second rung, CWC elections? We are told that there is good. What I've been told is probably the chief will be a proxy like a Mukul Vasnik. In fact, Mukul's name was given to me. And now there will be a huge reshuffle. There will be a generational change, or at least Sachin Pilot is probably going to be brought to the center. That should make you happy. You've been batting for him for a while. And other names are going to be coming and the old guard is going to be given the handshake and gradually eased out. So there will be more of younger, fresher faces. How good or bad they are, we don't know. But Sandeep Dikshit, Milind Deora, Jitin Prasad, this Malik Arjun, KC. Sorry. So there's going to be a whole lot of other people. KC Venugopal and a couple of other names will be brought in. Hardik Patel and Ajay Makhana already in. This kind of a change and elections to CWC, you think that's something that you could be, say it's a start at least?
Well, Priya, let's be honest. I think I completely agree with what I think Aarti said, that in politics, the bottom line is, are you winning or are you capable of making your team win? And that's how it should be. I mean, I'll give you an example. In a football team, a coach loses and he may have brought you 5 trophies. He loses, he's out. In the corporate world that I have worked in for a very long time, you may have got the highest bonus in the last year, but if this year your performance is not good enough, you move on, you get the pink slip. And in politics, I have found a weird accountability when in fact, I believe in politics, you should be more accountable than anybody else. If you're not able to make a team win, you need to make space for others. And, I want to tell Aarti that in the age of COVID, the mukhauta is gone because we are all wearing these masks, right? So we are all wearing masks in the post-COVID age. But truth be said, Aarti, Mr. Gandhi publicly stated that he did not want to return as a Congress president. He wanted a non-Gandhi leader, and he said so himself. I agree that Priyanka's comments are a year old. But they said and they repeated and they reiterated the point that the Congress party must have a non-Gandhi head. Frankly, what has transpired in the last 1 year that we should believe that comment can and should be ignored? The Congress has lost Karnataka since then. The Congress has given back Madhya Pradesh back to the BJP. The Congress has lost Jyotiraditya Scindia. We almost lost Rajasthan. As if the Congress was sitting in a plentiful of riches with 20 states under us, that yadi 2-3 rajya chale gaye to kya badi baat hai. So the fact is that you don't have the luxury of the margin of error. And Rashid has followed Congress for such a long time. In fact, one of the books I read long years ago when it got first published was 24 Akbar Road. And it is a very graphic account that a lot of Congress people, I hope they have read it themselves, because it tells you what the Congress's fault lines are. Many people believe that Rashid is a Congress insider. I believe he holds a mirror to the Congress party in a more number of ways. And today that is a job that even I'm doing. So truth be said, the Congress has to reinvent itself. It's a great historical brand, but brands get reinvented. And if we don't see the writing on the wall, who will? Will the BJP advise us, or are the 23 leaders in the Congress party who should tell the Congress party how to take it forward?
Well, at least 23 are speaking up. That's a positive. Early on, nobody would speak up. At least they've put their signature to something. Quickly, last words.
Yeah, but it depends to see who will.
I need to go, Priya.
Out of the
Okay,
23,
Sanjay, we're
how
also
many-
wrapping up. Thanks, Sanjay. Okay, Rashid, quickly, I want to give you and Aarti the last words.
How many out of that, 23 people, how many of them are Congress working committee members, or how many will be invited tomorrow? Or as me and Aarti were chatting, and she was saying, who will bell the cat? That's the biggest problem. Can somebody stand up and say the way it was said to PV Narasimha Rao and Sitaram Kesri that you please go? So if they're going to authorize Gandhis, then what are they going to get? They're going to get a Gandhi. And a Gandhi wants to choose his own timing. This is a problem. There is no one in the Congress, to my mind, who wants to challenge, Rahul Gandhi. They just want a position for themselves, and this is a problem.
Aarti, if you give it to the Gandhis, then they will choose their own timing. But there's never a good time, is there?
No, of course not. If Rahul is going to wait to win an election before he takes over as president, well, I'm afraid I don't know when that is going to come, because at the moment, the Congress does not look like it's going to be winning any elections in the near future. Certainly not Bihar. Even next year, we're looking at Tamil Nadu, we're looking at Assam, we're looking at West Bengal. I don't see the Congress winning in any of those states. So, and then comes the really big election of UP. And I don't know. Apparently, Priyanka is trying hard over there, but, it's a very tough fight against Yogi Adityanath and the BJP in UP. So, when is the right time? I don't know. I don't think leaders should run away. Listen, in politics, there are defeats and there are victories. A leader has to roll with the punches. You don't abdicate just because you've lost an election. I don't agree with this. I think that if you're a leader and you want to lead the party, then lead the party through thick and thin, through victory, through defeat. You take it.
Well said. In fact, when Rahul Gandhi wrote that letter resigning last year, a lot of Congress leaders defended it, saying, "Dekho, at least he has the moral, I think to stand by his words and resign, and show that he's not just there for the power. But if you're not there for the power, then why are you here? You can run an NGO. If you're in politics, then you have to be for the power. At least say that you're interested to fight, to lead, and get a team in place." I think Rahul's second problem is A, he doesn't know whether he wants to lead, and B, his problem has always been his team. For some reason, he doesn't take into account the party faithful. Either he takes leaders imported from outside, or he gets his own team at Tughlaq Road. What he needs to is, I think, to take people from within the organization, cutting across age groups, cutting across camps. And, at the end of the day, he may say he doesn't want it, but that's, as we all said, at the end of the day, that's also what's keeping the Congress together. Even these 23 people, once you decide, tell them if there's an election and decide amongst yourselves, I don't know whether the same 23 would be on the same page or not. So Congress does have a tough task ahead of us. But thank you all of you for joining in, and thank you for watching this show.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.